Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. I am the American Anchor Baby. Welcome to my show. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining me. Very nice to have you here. About to get rolling here with the show. Gonna get into this boycott business. Some mess there and a little bit more on that. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but it's ramping up. And I thought about something about that today. So we'll get into that as well as some actual AAPI, last day of AAPI, little AAPI thing, and some excitement too for those that want some excitement. And by excitement, I mean, I guess, tragedy or stupidity. Call it what you want. But you may have heard of that cruise jump. It's like on the main page of most news aggregate sites. This young man jumped off a cruise ship out of a dare. Now people can't find him, and the search has been called off. So we'll be getting into some stuff. Okay, we'll get into some stuff here. But drop that follow, drop that share on Twitter, here on YouTube, and of course rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. I see you on Rumble. Thank you for that. Very nice. Hey, Steve. Very, very cool. Okay. Thanks for everyone who joined last night on that wild flight we took. I appreciate everyone who showed up, even if it was a bumpy ride. You all got your first class coupons for the next flight as an apology, or because we value our customers and passengers on Anchor Baby Airlines. So nice of you to join me. Nice of last night we did like a Nick stream sort of thing, and that was nice. So thanks. Yeah, I mean, and we also got into the breaking news. Although I've now learned that's not so breaking. It's been talked about before. With Trump versus the Anchor Babies. Trump v. Anchor Baby. So that was funny. It's over. It's over for the Anchor Babies. Hopefully for real this time. This apparently was talked about 2015, 2016. Trump had brought up he campaigned on, one of the things he campaigned on was stopping birthright citizenship, where illegals come here, they have a baby on American soil, and they become citizens, and they make anchor babies, right? So it's over for the Anchor Babies. He said he would choke off a major incentive for continued illegal immigration, deter more migrants from coming in, and encourage many aliens, et cetera, et cetera. Which is just true. It seems like everything we see is like the wrong incentive. They incentivize the wrong thing. Whether it's anger, whether it's whatever it is. It just seems nobody wants to, at least not glorify evil, right? Can we at least just like turn it the other direction? You don't have to be so militant and crazy, okay? Can we at least get the direction turned just a little bit and let the chips fall where they may? But no, everything's kind of justified towards evil. Whether it's like kissing up or just being soft on stuff. So that's it. That's over for the anchor babies. Birthright citizenship is included in the 14th Amendment, according to The Guardian, to the U.S. Constitution, which was passed by the Senate in 1866, ratified 2 years later. The passage says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Pretty clear. I get to be a pretty clear to me. I get to be a citizen. That's of course a joke. That is of course a joke. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. It's a misuse of the amendment, misinterpretation. Having campaigned on this issue in 2015, he did not let it drop as president. Telling Axios 3 years later, it was always told to me that you needed a constitutional amendment. Guess what? You don't. Okay, I guess I should say it in his voice. It was always told to me that you needed a constitutional amendment. But guess what? You don't. Okay? So that might explain a little bit. Okay, so everybody calm down. He had a lot of people in his way. All right? And he's the only one saying this, so right on. Talking about Trump, obviously. Trump claimed the revocation of U.S. birthright citizenship was in the process. Said it'll happen with an executive order. The Guardian says it did not happen. Experts predicted then and predict now that any attempt to remove birthright citizenship by executive order would face immediate challenge and swift defeat. Really? I mean, it's what, 100 years of this? Is it really? Is that fair to say? I think The Guardian says that Trump was, speaking 125 years after the U.S. Supreme Court settled the issue of birthright citizenship. So it was settled in the Supreme Court. Is that constitutional? Is that how that works? Hold on. Wait a second. I thought they were supposed to interpret laws and stuff, not make them. I guess that's what they did. But yeah, 125 years. Imagine that. Not going to be easy to try and turn it all back. So it's nice to see someone talking about it, trying to make it happen. We're talking 125 years. More than 30 other countries offer birthright citizenship. That doesn't sound like a lot. The Guardian says, in fact, more than 30 other that doesn't sound like a lot of countries. So I don't think it's that popular around the world, okay? In 2015, this historian Eric Foner explained the idea behind the text in the 14th Amendment was that citizenship should be extended to people regardless of accidental characteristics such as race, national origin, or the status of their parents. It's rich to just read this. I didn't know this. I'm just reading it now. Apparently this historian, who The Guardian is lauding here, was explaining that the text, it's not misinterpreted. The text was saying that you can't discriminate citizenship due to accidental characteristics. What about so them coming over illegally is an accident? Such as race, national origin, or the status of their parents. You can't discriminate. You can't discriminate against the status of their parents. That's an accident. Oh, man. This established a national standard for... Anyways, we went into this a little bit yesterday, kind of bringing it up because it's funny, tongue-in-cheek, but I say right on. Right on, President Trump. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's get into this mess because Pride Month is upon us, right? Isn't June Pride Month, the whole month, 30 days, 31 days? 30 days of pride. Pride in false identities and weird stuff, weird sex stuff. And so Pride Month is upon us. It's coming up, and there's been this run-up of ramping up of boycotting, right? Boycotting against these corporations and companies that have been pushing this Pride stuff. And it's just too far. I guess it's just too far lately. It's gone too far. And people on Twitter and elsewhere are right now, they're lamenting another beloved corporation gone mad. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is facing a Twitter backlash after hiring a vice president of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Twitter users are accusing the fast food chain of going woke. And so they're not happy about that. I mean, well, let me read this here. Chick-fil-A is facing backlash. They hired this president for DEI. The fried chicken empire announced last week that it hired Eric McReynolds to assist the company in embedding diversity, equity, and inclusion and striving for common ground, which we all know what that all that is. It's more of the same ideology behind this white hatred, anti-American, decrying colonialism, decrying racism, systemic racism, all that stuff. So it's not good that we're hearing this, right? That these companies keep doing this. And, you know, there's been takes, many different sides. You know, some say, well, these companies, they're just trying to go along with the culture, the prevalent culture right now. They're trying to, you know, serve the market, serve the free market. It's what they want. Others say these companies are infiltrated by this DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion stuff. And once it's in there, it's hard to get out. And it just grows. Some say these companies are all in with this ideology and different. And by different, I mean just very not Christian way of operating, okay? And Chick-fil-A, if I remember, they're not even open on Sundays. Aren't they supposed to be this Christian fast food restaurant chain, right? Not open on Sundays, right? The Sabbath. They keep the Sabbath holy. And so they're lamenting this. But here's the thing. I mean, Chick-fil-A, I mean, everybody's kind of like lamenting it. Like, oh no, where am I going to get Chick-fil-A? I love Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is not that good, okay? Hot take? I'm sorry. Chick-fil-A is mid at best. Chick-fil-A is mid at best, okay? So I don't know what's the big hubbub behind all this about Chick-fil-A. Like, there's better fried chicken, okay? I forget I can't eat Chick-fil-A in June. Like, if you're gonna eat slop, okay? Can we get like Popeyes? Although I haven't had Popeyes in a long time, I can't give you my grading system on the slop restaurants, okay? Because there's only like a few around here. If I ever go to one, it's like Mickey D's, and that's okay. It's not that good. BK sandwich is a banger. Okay. We got some hot takes in the chat. So it's not even that good. Okay, can we move on? But here's the thing, though. Why are we surprised? Why? Like, is this a surprise? Or is it just that this is too far? Which is a funny thing to say is too far for Chick-fil-A. The DEI stuff is too far. They hired a DEI chief. That's way too far. Now, I understand that it's not the DEI. It's not the fact that they hired the DEI chief. It's that it's part of this media kind of frenzy right now, this online, conservative backlash frenzy that's going on right now. And so any company that, now that people are kind of on edge, they're ready to pounce after Budgate. Now that people are ready to bounce, any company that comes out showing a little bit of rainbow gets taken down by the conservatives. Let's go. But it's like, why are we surprised? Do you guys remember when we played on JLP show, the Chick-fil-A CEO, Dan Cathy, and that whole thing on shining shoes of blacks or whatever? You guys remember that? I mean, if you don't, let me see if I can show you.
some of our closing moments here, but a story that was shared with me by a dear friend who shared with me about a revival that was taking place at a church in Texas. And at that revival, on the front seat was an older African-American man that was sitting there. And this young man got up that was there in that service, and he'd been so gripped with conviction about the racism that was in that local community in a small town in Texas that he took a shoe brush and he walked over to this elderly gentleman and he knelt on his knees and began to shine his shoes. And tears began to flow in that service. It was an attitude of conviction. So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too, brother.
And some stock in Chick-fil-A.
But
embarrassing.
I bought about 1,500 of these, and I gave to all our Chick-fil-A operators and staff a number of years ago. And so any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, beget with an apologetic heart. I think that.
But for what? Just arbitrary racism. And so it shouldn't come as a surprise, okay? In fact, it shouldn't be a surprise with a lot of these companies, corporations. Like, how many Pride Months have we gone through? You guys remember, like, how many Pride Months have passed where every company throws up the rainbow logo? Now, okay, maybe it's just that, okay, people have had enough. Maybe they're waking up. It's had enough. It's ramping up. The people are fighting back. Okay, well, right on. I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo, if I may steal a phrase, and, criticize all that. But, it's been a couple of Pride Months, guys. Come on. And it's kind of interesting, there's Dan Cathy talking to Lecrae, who is he's like a Christian hip-hop artist, rapper, or something like that. Pretty popular in the Christian world. Young people, I remember Joel knew him. That's Joel. Lecrae is Joel in a different timeline. If Joel was never JLP pilled. If he was never JLP pilled, that was Joel's future. But we're on this timeline. We're in the JLP Joel timeline. Is it a better timeline? But it's interesting to note, that Dan Cathy in that clip, it's a little old, but, he says it doesn't matter. You go out, he beds, he's like, let me shine this guy's shoes. Like, for what? What are you fixing? What are you helping here? Other than justifying anger and showing false humility and false, guilt. And radicalizing people who see you. It's funny that he says it doesn't matter. He bends down to do this show of shining shoes, and he says it doesn't matter if they have sandals or tennis shoes. Lecrae has these white tennis shoes at the moment, because he says it doesn't matter though. Am I reading too much into this? But he says it doesn't matter because reality and truth don't matter. You don't shine white tennis shoes with grease; you'll ruin them. But that doesn't matter to him. Because you don't lie to people and feign false guilt over, fake racism and stuff that happened, in the past that we're not even quite sure of, and we're taught it in a way that's, they lie about it. They lie about history, the schools and leaders and everything. So you don't lie to people and feign all this false guilt because you'll ruin them too. Spoiling, you know what I mean? So that's why he doesn't care about actually shining the shoes, because he doesn't care about truth or reality. And Darren Beattie, I believe, writes for, or I think owns, Revolver News. Made a interesting comment on this. At the end of the day, this does resonate on a psycho-spiritual level with a non-negligible level of non-negligible percentage of Americans. And that's true. Our neighbors, our own neighbors, they feel this way in many ways. Many white people. He says this is part of the reason there will never be safe streets, clean subways, and efficient public school system in America. It's Dan Cathy, but not really just Dan Cathy. Just the general false guilt. There is no getting better if that doesn't stop. It's in the way. You can't serve two masters, right? You're either inclined to one direction or the other. And even if it's a slow decline, it's a clear direction. Okay? And nothing will get better until that's changed. So Pride Month is upon us, as I said, and some of people are calling for Boycott Month. Let's see if I can pull this up. They're calling for Boycott Month, at least some are. And I don't know this guy on Twitter, Joey Manorino. Seems like a nice guy. He does call a lot of these Democrats the real racists, so, take that how you will. He says, Boycott Month begins tomorrow. Let's see how proud these brands are after 30 straight days of consistent business losses. Target, Bud Light, Kohl's, Calvin Klein, Nike, Pantene. Names a bunch. He very strongly here says, again, this is not homophobia. This is we like natural men and women and don't want to be forced into the world of liberal depravity. Fair enough, Joey Manorino, very nice. But it's Boycott Month. At least that's what they're saying. And again, just to reiterate, this is all in response to the recent stuff with Bud Light and all that. And look, to be fair, these companies are losing money, according to the news. The news sites, the headlines, that's what they're saying. They're saying Bud Light risks losing its title as the top-selling beer to Modelo. So the Mexicans win. Sorry, buddy. After sales plunged 25% in biggest weekly decline since Dylan Mulvaney tie-up. So, to be fair, it seems to be doing something, okay? At least it's hurting the pockets. Memorial Day beer, the aisles were full of Bud Light, and all the other beers were, as you can see here, there's tweets, anecdotal moments where people went to stores, and the beer aisle, the only thing that was left was Bud Light. So it seems like people aren't buying it. And so right on in the sense that, well, I'm not going to criticize people saying enough is enough. And it doesn't seem like these companies care, though. Some of them are doubling down. Bud Light giving LGBT organization $200,000 in donation. And it continues with the other companies. It continues with Target. You heard about all that. Putting all this Pride Month clothes out or whatever. And these tuck-friendly bathing suits or other gross things like that. It's weird. It's kind of funny. It's kind of weird, but not surprising to see Target take total pointers from the government. Like they saw the best, meaning the U.S. government. They saw them do it. They saw them use those words like domestic terrorist, and so they learned from the best. Target Pride designer says company pulled products due to threats from domestic terrorists, they say. And this little and they released like an internal memo. This internal memo that Target released to their employees, which reads, as political and social tensions rise ahead of the 2024 presidential election, Target will face a continued increase of physical security threats related to our commitments on conscientious social issues, including support of the LGBTQIA+ community and Pride Month. Online campaigns and boycotts that emerge regarding Target's Pride merchandise have the potential to motivate extremists to violence. Recent extremist focuses are sexualization of children. That's an extremist thing, by the way. What's up? Why are you so focused on us sexual? Like, we're just putting up pride stuff, making kids think about sex and romance and gender and stuff before they ever should. But you're all focused on what we're doing. That sounds extremist. Gender issues, drag performances, those are all extremist focuses. Guests may express their opposition to Target's support of the LGBTQIA+ community, they write it all out, in general, or to specific Pride merchandise through disruptive incidents. There's a couple funny disruptive incidents. I'm going to get into them. In our stores or by making threats, our Pride merchandise may spark disagreements among team members. So be careful of your own employees, of your own coworkers. They may be extremists too. Physical security risks will be highest for team members within the LGBTQIA+ community. We have not seen any indicators yet in 2023 that raise concerns of a unique risk to Target. But let's decry extremism and domestic terrorism anyways, because that's what this is all about. It's just a bunch of extremists. So, very interesting to see them put out a memo. Not surprised. They're taking pointers from the best. The U.S. government, the Democrats, rhinos, Biden, the entrenched power in the government, who all kind of speak the same way. But even Target's getting hit. Target shares plummet. Target loses $12 billion in 14 days. Retail giant's market cap plummets after longest losing streak in 5 years, as shares drop to lowest level in a year amid Pride tuck-friendly swim. That's almost gross to even say that. Tuck-friendly swimwear controversy. Shares fell 3.6%, which is apparently a whopping $2.4 billion in market capitalization. Pfft. Money, money, money. They still have a lot of money, though. You know, it's not like it's over for Target. They're just not making it, you know, they're making a couple billion less. And I understand that could be quite devastating when you have payments to keep up with, you know, that could end a company. But I just doubt that that's what's happening to Target. They still got plenty of money. They just got to downsize a whole bunch. So it's really just less employees. And they're saying removing merch is violence. These LGBT activists, they call it, like they say, silence is violence. Well, removing Pride merch from the front of the store is violence. And just wild. But Target shared that memo talking about increased incidents, possible incidents over the merch. There's this little 4chan text going around that's kind of funny. Where is it? And it's someone purporting to run a little troll. It's called a little trolling. We do a little trolling, right? They're this poster here. Okay, hold on. There it is. I got it right here. My as you can see, my voice might be a little delayed as I show you this, but it's the only way I could do it. But this little post here beside me is like a 4chan post. If you don't know about that, image board, a message board, infamous. And so this person here I can't even read it from here. I didn't plan for this. But if I may summarize, this guy's going around, going to different Targets, saying, picking up all the Pride merchandise, putting it in a cart and making a cashier ring it all through about like thousands of dollars of this Pride merch. And he forces them, well, he asks for this protection plan, which is more work for the cashier because they got to input a bunch of little numbers and go through every item. And then at the end of it all, racking up a bill of like $2,000+. This poster here says, oh, I forgot my wallet. Oh, oops. Anybody got $2,000? Apparently this person got banned from this Target and so is now ready to go to the next Target and the next Target. Now, of course, I disavow. As some say, don't terrorize. Don't actually be terrorists. Now, I don't think that's illegal to do that, by the way. But I I disavow for the sake of my channel, as some wise people say, as a wise man once said. Let's see what else here. And so you've seen, and so it's just the latest in the string. It's like more every day. It seems like another company is in the crosshairs of this onslaught, of this gauntlet that will destroy these companies. Disney's the next one, with some man named Nick in a dress. Just the name Nick lately, just not a good stock in Nick lately. This guy's not helping.
So my name's Nick. I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
Who talks like that other than gay people? Like, women don't talk like that. What is this weird gay accent? Gaccent. And so now Disney's in the crosshairs. It's over for Disney now. And I'm talking a little like sarcastic, just a little bit. And again, I've already said this. I'm not gonna criticize people waking up, even if it's like not when, even if it should have happened then or should have happened at this time, whatever. That's fine. They're right. Use your money how you want. And if this is the message you want to send, that's one way to do it. But look at, there was this meme that was kind of in the online world on Twitter. It was like, I see this image thrown around every now and then, especially when homosexual, pride, LGBT stuff gets brought up on the internet. People will throw up this image. It's a meme. And they'll throw up this image of a pie chart. And it says, and it's a post on Reddit, as some of you might know. Reddit is a super liberal platform, forum, where they do all sorts of different topics. But it's known to be pretty liberal. And this post, which was posted 11 years ago, and maybe even before that, but this image says 11 years ago. And it asks, what will happen if gay marriage is legalized? And you gotta, just to remind you, this is posted in r/LGBT. So these are pro-LGBT people posting this. And so this pie chart says, what will happen if gay marriage is legalized? And it's all one color. And the options beneath it is this cyan blue color. Gay people will get married. Then the next is a third world war will break out. The next one says various plagues, locusts, frogs, etc. will erupt. Schools will begin teaching kids how to have gay sex. Sorry, it's lunchtime for a lot of people. I don't mean to be gross, but the terrorists will win. And this person who posted this image was being funny, being cute, and saying, obviously, the only thing that's going to happen out of those options is gay people will get married, okay? Love is love. Let people get married. Stop being so weird, you Christians and Republicans. Why do you hate gay people? Obviously, now hindsight is 2020. You love to see it. You don't really love to see it, but it seems like all of those things are happening. A third world war will break out. We're closer than ever, at least some say. I know the President Trump thinks so. Various plagues. I mean, people are sick. People are sick besides like disease, STD, and weird stuff. COVID. You legalize marriage, and look at now we have a looming third world war. COVID. Schools will begin teaching kids how to have degenerate sex. That's happening, and the terrorists will win. Yeah, Biden won. The terrorists won. Biden won, right? Wink, wink. So, but here's the thing here. Are we giving up self-responsibility somewhat here? Because like the take is protect the kids, for example. You got to do this to protect the kids. You can't let them see that stuff. You can't let them be indoctrinated. And it's true. Can't just allow rampant indoctrination and schools to teach this stuff, or you know what's let me say it in a better way. You can't just allow your kids and you actively put your kids in these situations. I get that. Can't allow that. But where was that like a few years ago? Where was that energy? Again, I'm not going to, people are waking up, that's fine. But are we just supposed to like boycott everything here? Because I'm left wondering, how did it all get so gay in the first place? I mean, you asked me personally, maybe these companies, you asked me personally, these companies should be crushed. Crushed and destroyed by the power of the state. But, you know, I'm kind of being funny there. But seriously, you asked me personally, you shouldn't just be because like I reported on, Target didn't just put Pride. They don't just put Pride merch out, okay? They are in bed with corporations and organizations, and they donate money to these organizations that work in the shadows to put these, for example, curriculums, LGBT curriculums and stuff in schools, okay? And other things like that. So you ask me, down with them. But putting that aside, again, are we giving up like self-responsibility somewhat here? Because the slippery slope, like that meme I just showed you, the slippery slope was not gay marriage. The slippery slope was things like, I mean, it started way before that. Like worshiping women, worshiping sex. You know how into it guys are? And I don't mean to be gross here, but seriously, like, guys are just like, they're so into it and they want to do it for so long, da-da-da. It's like, that's kind of gay. Are you following me here? Look, I'm not trying to be gross, but let me get back to it. Look, are we giving up self-responsibility just a little bit here? And then you get like the Federalist here saying, it's up to moms. It's up to moms to crush Target. I'm not happy about or proud of this. But it's simply, I'm reading the Federalist paper, the Federalist article here. But it's simply a law of nature that once females get pregnant or rear children, they will be drawn to those giant red cement balls, talking about the cement balls outside of a Target. So asking a mom to boycott Target is like asking a squirrel to boycott all pecan trees. Pecan? Or asking a heroin addict to boycott all street corners. A seemingly insurmountable task. Yet, the Federalist wants to leave it up to moms. So it's up to you, moms. You guys got to do the hard thing and not go to Target. I mean, are we just supposed to leave it up to boycotting? Leave it up to... leave it up to moms? It doesn't seem like that's going to work, okay? Maybe this is not groundbreaking. This is even maybe disappointing for some who want action and want the state to crush Target, which maybe I'm evil for that, but I'm not against that. Maybe I'm a fascist, but take this in. And what I'll say might be disappointing to those that want action. But maybe it's about dealing with the evil inside of ourselves. Boring. Oh my God, boring. If you find that boring and not deep, then maybe you should examine yourself. Because didn't like people react to Jesus the same way? They're like, I thought you were gonna come and like change stuff. I thought you were gonna become like king or like change politics and stuff like that. And he's like, nah. He's like, nah, man, nah. I'm joking. Jesus wasn't black. At least some say he is. But he came to deal with the hearts of people, the individuals. You see what I'm saying here? Like, you follow me with that one? Like, that's what Jesus came to do. And he came to divide or whatever. Because it was about the heart. So that might be boring for those that want action. And go boycott. Look, do it. But how did it all get so gay in the first place, right? The slippery slope started individually with ourselves. Someone in the chat says, you think you're watching straight pornography, but you're not. I don't know if you're joking, man, but I mean, that's kind of funny and kind of gross, but it's kind of true. All that stuff is, all the stuff that you think is straight and masculine. Yeah, I'm having so much sex with so many different women. It's degenerating you, and it's the stepping stone to pride and LGBT. Okay? Capitalism is a stepping stone to communism. Okay? Without God, sex and all this stuff is a stepping stone to trans, homosexuality, low birth rates. Wait, rampant sex is the stepping stone to low birth rates? Yeah, just maybe. It just might be. If you're kind of following the logic here, it could very well be. Just really think about that. What else do I got to say about this? I think that is California Condor agrees with what I said. You guys are being funny in the chat. Very funny stuff. If you're not in the chat, I was going to say join up and join the party, but, you know, maybe you're trying to pay attention to the show, right? So, okay. Let's get to John Frederick. So true. So true. He says pornography is very, very gay. Let me get to calls before we get to more topics here. And let me make sure everything's working here. Very cool. Oh, is that a super chat? Oh, that was from yesterday. Okay, let me get to Nathan out of Illinois. Been holding the longest, sir. Thank you for joining. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for having me, bro.
No problem, man. Right on.
So on that topic, bro, of pornography, it's very, very gay, and it's also very, very demonic.
Right.
Like, I fell off the straight and narrow, and I went back to it for a moment, and I was like, oh, can I say this? Like,
just try not to be too gross.
I'll be as
try to censor yourself a little bit, please.
I will. I'll try my best. So I was like, I'll watch lesbian porn.
Oh no.
And I was like,
that's gay, man.
I was like, dude. I was like, it is, yeah. But I was like, I watched it and I was like, are you familiar with from Greek mythology, sirens?
Oh yeah, I know a little bit about them. It's like
dude.
A siren in Greek mythology. Sirens are human-like beings with alluring voices. Just read you a little bit of the Wikipedia there.
I was listening to their voices and their sound effects. I was like, whoa, dude, this is so demonic, dude. And I was like, I'm not going back to that mess. That was the last time.
Yeah, it's dark stuff, man. But
yeah, dude.
It's dark stuff. But I think it's dark stuff, and I like. Look, it's cool that you're doing your thing and working on yourself. But I out of hearing the JLP show so many years, I have to say I really do believe there's some wisdom here in never really saying to yourself, that was the last time. I'm never going to do that. There's some real wisdom there. Just a little side note, not to like derail it here,
okay.
but you know what I'm saying? Like you said, that was the last time.
Yeah.
Have a little space there.
All right. I appreciate that.
You never know. Look, should it happen, you might, and you tell yourself that was supposed to be the last time, you know what happens next. Panic. And that's darker, way darker than the lesbian porn.
True.
In my opinion.
Anyway. Yeah, I appreciate your input. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like I got a good clever little joke for you.
All right, hit me.
So I saw my friend from high school. He's like Muslim.
Okay.
At the gym, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my brother's getting married." And he's explaining to me how the Muslim marriage ceremony is much different, and it's like a 3-day course of events. So I said to him, I was like, "Oh, on the third day, do you guys behead a Jew?"
That's what you asked?
Yeah.
well, What'd they say?
He laughed.
Okay, nice. He's a good sport.
Yeah, he's a decent man.
Now I wonder if you had said something like, "Oh, what is she? 9 years old?" Or what is your wife? 9 years old?
Could have gone that route.
Maybe you would have been the beheaded one, but of course I'm just playing.
Yeah. And one more thing.
All right.
We were talking about fried chicken, right?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, mid or no?
Mid.
Totally.
Yeah. Do you guys have Cane's out in Cali?
Cane's? I think I heard someone talking about that. So I believe we do.
That's
Cane's.
the stuff, dude.
Yeah, we do. Raising Cane's?
Yes, sir. That's the stuff.
This is the third time I'm hearing of Raising Cane's. Look, I might have to get me some slop.
Slop it up. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Your body positive.
Don't say that. Don't encourage me. Cane's is trash, according to Mr. Mad.
Oh, Mr. Mad.
Mr. Mad probably likes Chick-fil-A.
I checked out his YouTube account, and he's saying 𝒏𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. That's some like fried steak sandwich in Chicago.
Yeah.
Not the docs.
Mr. Mad's the homie, even if he likes flavorless chicken.
It's all love.
Right on, Nathan.
All right, bro.
Well,
Wish you well.
yeah, I like that, man. But keep it up, brother, and call me again. I think it's really deep, though. Just that side note of not judging yourself.
Yeah, I try not to do that because obviously we're not perfect. Like some book in Isaiah says that humans are, or some verse in Isaiah says that humans are limited in nature. So, we have to be forgiving of ourselves.
I know, and it's so easy to be hard on yourself, and that is what keeps you in bondage.
Right. I wore I got a Sex Out of Wedlock shirt. I wore it to the gym today.
Right on, rocking the merch.
Yeah.
I got a version 1 American Tar Baby on right now. You can't even get this.
Oh, I can't. What if I want it?
We'll have to figure out how to do that. Actually.
All right.
All right, man. Well, appreciate your call, Nathan.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Moving the wheels. Amazing Tar Baby. Amazing Anchor Baby. Yeah, right on. Let's go. What do you guys say? You guys are going off in the chat. If you ain't eating your chicken at a Korean spot, then you just aren't getting it. Did we just get a hot take in the chat? I got to do the little finger thing. I can't do it loud. You know what I'm talking about? If you ain't eating fried Korean, then you don't know. What are you even doing? What are you even doing? If you're not talking about... No, I'm joking. What are you even doing? Okay. What's next here? Ooh. Before I move on, let me take Super Dave out of Toronto, Canada. What's up, Dave? How you been?
Hey, Nick. How's it going, man?
All is well, man. Is this your first time calling me?
First time calling your show, and I'm like blown away. It's been a great show so far.
Thank you, sir. Man, I've always seen you around. It's nice to hear from you, man.
Yeah, I'm like so happy that you're crushing with JLP, Hake, Sean, and Hassan, and everyone there. Joel is just, you're flying on your own right now.
Thank you, sir. The network is happening, man, and it's. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just talking to like a buddy right now. I'm like not nervous at all. It's very chill.
Bro, you sound like a total hoser. It's bringing me warm beta feelings.
Yeah, but what happened to your plane landing yesterday? You landed in a field.
But I shouldn't speak like that because I might get vulgar. Because all my friends who spoke like that were always vulgar. So, it was a bumpy landing. Okay, it was a bumpy landing.
Well, I'm glad it went well. It was a good show too yesterday.
Thank you, sir. How's Toronto lately?
Oh, Toronto's doing great. It's pretty hot here. It's like 30 down here. I don't know how it is in your temperature, but it's pretty hot.
I was there in December, so not too long ago.
I know.
And I actually saw people in tents. And I saw homeless people in Toronto. I lived in Toronto many years. But I started seeing tents and like little tent kind of places, kind of like in LA. And I'm like, this is actually out of the ordinary.
Yeah, they exist here too. And speaking of which, given a report from Toronto, from the 6th, I've been, I've been buying beer. I'm Canadian. I drink beer. I've been drinking Coors and like Coors Banquet. But when I go to the stores, I've noticed too, Bud Light and Budweiser are like they're fully stocked.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Nobody's buying them.
No.
They're sticking to the Labatt Blue and Molson.
Yeah. No, Labatt Blue is actually a part of the Anheuser-Busch company.
Oh, really?
So no one's buying those too.
No more Labatt.
Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you about that.
They are starting to go our way.
Yeah, and Stella's a part of that too, so no one's buying Stella. I've been noticing. So I just wanted to tell you that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
so
shout out to YouTube chat.
Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, it's happening up there too, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy down here. Everyone's just doing their own thing.
It just feels like internet, Twitter, like internet culture is just everywhere. Is that kind of the vibe I'm getting? Because we're separated by very little now, and the main news stories happening in America, they happen elsewhere.
Yeah, we're your little cousin, you know.
That's true.
From up north. So whatever happens there happens up here.
Yeah.
So one more thing, you're a gamer, right? You've been playing.
I cringe at even calling myself that, but yeah, no, I grew up playing games. If I could, but no, let me take that back. I don't cringe at that. If I could play games all the time, I would. I mean, the games are fun, but you just can't.
Yeah, you're busy, you're working, you're just doing your thing. With Bond and the crew. I am a gamer. I don't mind saying that, and I'm excited for Diablo 4 that's coming out. I don't know if you heard about that.
I definitely have. There's a little poster right outside Bond. There's a big poster promoting Diablo 4. I haven't played any of the I've never played any of the Diablos, but it says "Welcome to Hell, Los Angeles," and it's very dark. It's very creepy.
Yes. Now that's the point I'm working on.
Okay.
I just want to play a game. I'm here to play the game, learn about the storyline, and this and that. But now I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on with this game. Like it's a spiritual thing. It's not only about gaming. I don't know if you saw Lilith. That's like the mother. They're promoting the mother. Lilith is the mother. Like they're promoting the feminine mother spirit in these games. And
I've heard that name before. Searching it here on Google, it says the first thing you get is Lilith, female demonic figure of Jewish folklore. Her name and personality are thought to be derived from the class of Mesopotamian demons, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're saying they're promoting this Lilith character in the game Diablo?
Yes, they're doing it really, really hard, and they're going all out. I think I haven't seen this amount of advertising for a game from Blizzard Entertainment from a long time. And it's pretty deep and spiritual. So I just wanted to call to ask if you're playing or if you heard about it and just want to give me your feedback.
I probably am not playing it. I can't remember the last game I actually bought and paid for was. Oh, I bought Elden Ring. Okay, so that wasn't that long ago. But I don't see myself buying Diablo 4. But here's the thing though. Doesn't that fit thematically? Like, it's a game about demons and devils, and doesn't it fit thematically? Like that they would talk about the devil and Lilith.
It's just such perfect timing. You know what I mean?
I know it feels like
timing.
That. It can feel like that, but in this case, it does fit thematically. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're going to talk about. But
Buddy,
I don't know.
Listen.
I don't know the marketing. I haven't seen besides the poster I saw outside. It is creepy. I gotta say, I drive past this poster every day, and it says "Welcome to Hell, Los Angeles," and it's like, I read that poster and I'm like, that's not even like fantasy. Like, yeah.
Did you see the date? Did you see the date they're gonna release it on?
Oh no, I didn't.
June the 6th, 2023. That's 666.
Really? How? Oh yeah, 6 months.
Because it's the 6th month, the 6th day, and then 2-3 is two times. So
I gotcha. But that's pretty we can't get lost in the sauce with this kind of stuff because that would be a perfect day to release the game. It's a game about devils. It's a game called Diablo.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to release it on 666?
Okay, I'll throw you another one, and then I'll okay, so they had an open beta to test the servers on. They released it on Mother's Day. Mother's Day weekend, they released it.
Okay, now that one is interesting.
And she's the demon. She's the mother of all demons.
Okay, I get that. No, never mind. See, it still fits thematically. Lilith, mother. I thought you were saying that they were implying that Mother's Day is the devil's day. And I'm like, now that one's too far. I don't see them ever revealing that well-kept secret. But it still fits.
I was just saying.
It's Lilith, the mother. It makes sense, man. I don't think we got to trip. I don't think we have to trip about it. There's more. There's real demonic things happening that are, obvious and in front of us.
100%. I agree, man. And I'm on the fence of getting the game. I don't know what to do, but I've been noticing a lot of spiritual things in it. And hey, next time you see that poster outside, just take a closer look at it. Pretty messed up, man. It's everywhere. New York, Las Vegas. It's a big thing. But hey, good on you. And I'm glad you're focusing on your job and your work, and just keep on crushing. And
man.
Thanks for letting me call in.
We'll get together and do another JLP Minecraft.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up, okay? Man. I'll hit you up on Discord.
For sure, bro. We'll get it going. And shout out to Hamilton and Mississauga.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy. The Hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on, Dave. Take care.
No problem. You're the best. How it going?
Moving the wheels. It's a mess in Canada sometimes, but I grew up there. I got love for the Canadians. Okay, what are we going to do next? Shall we do a little excitement? And of course, I don't mean that in a positive way, but people like excitement and sensational videos. So it's not really a point. I don't really have too much of a point here, but I was kind of struck a little by this story of this Cameron Robbins, who jumped off a ship into the shark-infested waters. A Louisiana high school graduate who disappeared after leaping off a cruise ship into dark waters off the Bahamas last week may have met a grisly fate in a shark-infested area, a local official said. The waters off the Atoll Island, where 18-year-old Cameron Robbins was last seen swimming after jumping off the Blackbeard's Revenge Sunset Cruise on May 24th. May 24 weekend for the Canadians. Our really shark-infested Royal Bahamas Defense Force told the Daily Mail on Tuesday. A chaotic video taken moments after the jump also shows the Baton Rouge native ignoring onlookers' pleas for him to grab a buoy and swimming in the opposite direction, prompting social media sleuths to suggest that a silvery reflection near the boat's hull may have actually been a shark that scared him off. Speculation, we'll watch the video here in a moment. Haunting, but you can see the exact moment the shark gets him. It's speculation. But young curly-haired guy, reminds me of a young anchor baby. I had big old curly hair like him. I don't have a picture of him, do I? Oh, but I think I could do some snazzy tech stuff by showing you my screen as I fill the dead air while I do the moves, and I fill the dead air so I could show you what I'm looking at. Bingo. Young curly-haired little guy. Well, I'm saying little guy. He's an 18-year-old man. Let's see if I can pull it up. There it is. Yeah, man, young guy. Watch the video here in a moment. Let me bring the camera back to me. So, Cameron Robbins. Let me pull this back up. Another viewer argued that Robbins could be seen abandoning the life ring after he notices the shape nearby. The Blackbeard's Revenge, which is designed to resemble a pirate ship, remained in the area for several hours. The Coast Guard called off its own search 2 days later after reportedly scouring over 325 square miles. You know how hard it is to find someone that man overboard in the daytime? Okay, no. Depending on the size of the ship. But big ships, someone jumps off the side. Do you know how difficult it is to locate someone? Now, not to mention a actual, once the ship is gone and now you're like, okay, now let's get the Coast Guard to start searching. You know how difficult that is? Whether it's even with helicopters, even with all that. You're literally lost in the waves. I watched a lot of I Shouldn't Be Alive. You guys remember that show? What was it called? I Shouldn't Be Alive. Is that what it was called? Yeah, I Shouldn't Be Alive, that TV series. Yeah, I watched a lot of Castaways ones. Those are my favorite ones. But there's something about being lost at sea. Those stories of the people lost at sea, and then like months later, they stayed like floating in like a raft or something, and then months later they got found. I don't know why I find those fascinating. But yeah, it's very difficult, almost impossible. Coast Guard called off, and then in the nighttime, imagine that. After reportedly scouring over 325 square miles, Robbins disappeared 3 days after his graduation from University Laboratory School. He was staying, so they were out doing this. They were, out on a cruise, doing their thing. Tragic, if you will. I mean, I didn't know, but, not nice. It definitely not nice. Let's watch the footage. Might as well, since we're talking about it.
This kid f***ing jumped off.
Whoa. Wrong screen. Maybe I shouldn't have used the duck. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have used the duck because there's people swearing. And I used the duck bleep to bleep out their swearing. Upon second review, maybe that wasn't the best sound to use. But let's watch it.
This kid f***ing jumped off. Oh my God. Oh, bye-bye. Oh, shit. That's it. Hey, the buoy.
The current, you hear. Grab the buoy. He goes away from the buoy. And so it's just incredible. Yeah, so you see him going away, and some people say he swam away from the thing because a shark showed up. But just as likely, and I think quite possible, you hear a lady scream, "The current! The ship is moving!" I mean, I'm not saying anything wild here, but just imagine that. You jump over like that. The ship will go past you. You don't just stop on a dime, It's not that easy. These big, these big aquatic vehicles, they take time to maneuver. It takes time to turn, time to stop, time to do everything. Where would he possibly swim to? Well, they were telling him to swim towards the buoy, the little life buoy they threw for him. And they said, some people ask, why did he swim away from it? Well, so hopefully they find him. Oh yeah, and it was on a dare. That's what I missed here. That's what I missed here. That's the part I missed here. It was on a dare, apparently. I wonder what the people who dared him to do that are thinking. Stop all daring. We need to have mothers against dares. Wait for the emotion and wait for the false, blaming. As, you could blame them for the daring, but what's wrong with you that someone can influence you like that? We kind of have some idea, right? Over these past few years, years of JLP, years of working on ourselves, doing that inner work. I think we have some ideas as to why this 18-year-old would allow himself to be influenced in such a way. The probability of survival decreases significantly, particularly if a person did not have a life vest. And he did not have one. Well, I hope it turns out. I hope it turns out well. What are you guys saying here? Well, ice getting thin. Multiple ice getting thin accusers. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'm getting distracted by your chats. Let me move on. Here. Last day of AAPI month. And I have to give a little shout out to this story, which I found funny. Just to end off here on a funny note, on a funnier note. Look, Chinese internet trolls, I gotta hand it to you guys. You guys are pretty funny. You guys are pretty funny. Because there's this story from restofworld.org. Let me see if I can pull up a copy of it and show you guys while I also report on it. Let me pull it over here. My apologies for the small interlude there. So here it is. Chinese internet trolls are adopting American racism to taunt black users. Oh, man. Black people cannot catch a break. They're getting it from everyone, even the Chinese internet trolls. Users are harassing black creators with profile pictures of white police officers. Hey, I like it. We love a little trolling. It's called a little trolling, and I gotta hand it to them. This is funny. Let me see if I can scroll down as I show you. Okay. Mitchell Sherman, this writer here starts it off with a story, a bit of an anecdote to open up the story here. It says, Mitchell Sherman moved from Minnesota to teach English in China. A kindergarten teacher in the northeastern city of Liaoning, he started posting selfies to lifestyle app Xiaohongshu in February. That's when Sherman, who is black, and they capitalize the word black, started experiencing online racist attacks, okay? You might hear me laughing a little bit in my voice. I'm not laughing. Not funny. Maybe a little bit. Sherman started receiving insulting comments and direct messages from a number of accounts on the platform. These accounts had profile pictures depicting the Confederate flag, unidentified white police officers from the U.S., so like just random police officers, and even Derek Chauvin, the former officer convicted of killing George Floyd. One comment said, please go back to America as a slave, black man. And restofworld.org capitalizes black in the quote of this Chinese person. But I wonder if this Chinese person who was trolling this Mitchell Sherman wrote black with a capital B. I wonder. Isn't that editorializing restofworld.org? Viola Zhou. Looks like a Chinese name, whoever wrote this article. I think that's editorializing. This is embarrassing, Sherman told Rest of World. China is a nice country. The only problem I have with China is that I realize that Chinese people are so obsessed with skin color. You know what I thought when I read that? I don't know anyone who's not. And I don't mean, okay, let me be accurate here. Obsessed with skin color? Now that might be a little bit of this Mitchell Sherman here, maybe, adding to it, making it extra. Because no one's really obsessed with skin color. People don't really care about that. They care about, like, who are these foreigners? Why are they, like, they're different, and I get treated a certain way by them, and patterns or whatever. So the people aren't really obsessed with skin color, but this Mitchell Sherman is saying I have a problem with China, that I realize Chinese people are so obsessed with skin color. I actually don't know anyone, even people who are like, well, no, I don't see color, I don't see race, but everybody everybody has a sort of sense of that stuff. And they have an opinion of it, even if it's a no opinion. I'm unbiased. You know what I'm saying here? Anyways, Rest of World interviewed. Let me pull this back up. Rest of World reviewed Xiaohongshu, Qiaoshu, and Douyin, which are TikTok's sister apps in China, and found hundreds of users with profile pictures of uniformed American cops or American-sounding surnames such as Sheriff Robertson. They left out the T. That's Chinese person trying to troll someone using a quote-unquote American name. Sheriff Robertson. They left out the T. Captain America and Florida Jack. Creative. Very funny, Chinese people. Others have changed their names to Abraham Lincoln, noting in parentheses that they regret liberating black slaves. Okay, Very funny. These accounts post racist remarks harassing black influencers and users with slang such as emptying the magazine, referring to how some U.S. police officers have fired multiple rounds at suspects. Chinese people, look, American culture, it's everywhere. Everyone hears about it, not just us. If a black man dies in America at the hands of a police officer, the whole world hears about it. While the Chinese government and social media companies have denounced racism, it remains pervasive online. News about black people in China regularly triggers xenophobic comments directed at what some fear to be an influx of black immigrants. Now, I wonder what kind of black immigrants. I find it hard to believe that many black Americans are going to China. At least in large numbers. But I don't know. Directed at what some Chinese women who date black people or have mixed race children have also drawn sexist attacks online. It's unclear what has driven the recent spike in racist speech. It's totally unclear. Yeah, maybe. And I'm not saying these people deserve it at all. Okay, people don't. You shouldn't get just outrightly harassed and treated as just for when you haven't done anything. He's there legally working, right? But different people, especially very with large differences between them. This happens in close proximity. Conflict happens with people not of different races. These things happen in close proximity. And so going out and saying these people just hate blacks. They just hate black people and capitalize the word black every time we use it. And these are xenophobes and they need to denounce xenophobia and racism. That's how you create worse division. That's how you make it worse. So please, China and Chinese trolls, as much as you are learning from America and using the current events as fuel for your trolling and taking in American culture and using it as fuel for your trolling and American news and media, also in your consumption of American media culture and all that, please also learn from the mistakes and don't get into all that. And I gotta say, Japan, shout out to the last day of AAPI month. Pink News reports in a major win for LGBTQ plus equality, a Japanese court has ruled that not allowing same-sex marriage is unconstitutional. Wow. So they held out this long, right on Japan, but I'm telling you guys, just like I'm telling the Chinese trolls, learn from the mistakes. I'm telling you, you don't want this. You don't want this. It's a slippery slope. On the May 30th, Nagoya District Court became the second to rule against Japan's same-sex marriage ban, despite Prime Minister Fumio Kishida claiming the ban wasn't discriminatory to the LGBTQ plus community. Japan is the only G7 nation that doesn't recognize same-sex marriage. Is it over? And I'm going to get to your calls here. Thanks for holding, 888-775-3773. The ruling, welcomed by activists and supporters outside the court, follows Japan's main opposition, the Constitutional Democratic Party, submitting a bill calling for same-sex marriage to be legalized. I'm telling you guys, currently, same-sex couples are only able to engage. They call it same-sex couples. Another like euphemism. Yeah, a euphemism. You mean perverts, are only able to engage in civil unions, and even then only in certain areas such as Tokyo, with Japan's constitution stating that marriage is between a man and a woman. Does the U.S. Constitution say marriage is between a man and a woman? Is there such a thing in the American Constitution? Federal marriage amendment. I'm just doing some cursory Google searching here, so this is nowhere near an in-depth search on this. Marriage in the United States shall consist solely of the union of a man and a woman, Neither this constitution nor the constitution of any state shall be construed to require that marriage or the legal incidents thereof be conferred upon any union other than the union of a man and a woman. This is the 2004 version of the Federal Marriage Amendment. I don't know what that is, but it has to do with the U.S. Constitution. Interesting. Yeah, Japan, don't do it. Don't do it. Real quick here, what else? You know, I got this thing on. I'm reporting the news here. I'm trying to give you guys a show, and I find this interesting, and I have some takes on it. But you know what I've been really into just very recently? My new autistic topic is the People's Liberation Army in China, the June 4th incident of 1989. Anybody know what I'm talking about? When the People's Liberation Army, the military of China, suppressed a massive violent revolution attempt in Beijing. And this is a moment in history. And I've been kind of into it a little bit artistically. Look, I won't go way into it and bore you guys, but I might do a show on it because it's, it's my show. I should talk about what I'm into, not just dredge for news, right? But I won't bore you with a whole thing on it. But if you're interested, I'll let you guys know when I do it. But, some say it was the oppressive Chinese military cracking down on the freedom of the people. But I don't think it's that simple. And the U.S. is involved a little bit. We're talking color revolution. We're talking money to support unrest in foreign countries and countries that you want to enact a sphere of influence over. Ukraine, Russia, anybody? Georgia, talking about Georgia over there in the east side of the world. Anybody? Anybody know what I'm talking about here? Or am I just into boring stuff that nobody cares about? I don't know. The People's Liberation, the Chinese military at that time their response may have been proper to the riots. But I'll get into it another day. Let me get to Frederick out of Los Angeles, sir. You're on the air. Appreciate it.
How's it going, Nick?
What's up, Frederick? Thanks for your call.
All right. I had to call in. You played a great video yesterday. And these Chinese that's racist, they all part of this new movement called the Falun Gong. Have you heard of it?
I have. Falun Gong. So,
yeah, they racist. They don't believe in inbreeding.
You're saying the Falun Gong are racist?
Yeah. If you listen
the Chinese government, I'm sorry to cut you off, just a little bit on Falun Gong so the viewers can be a little caught up. It's a religious movement in China.
Yeah.
And the Chinese government, the current the People's Republic government of China, they're against Falun Gong.
That's right. But the Jews who control the media want them to go ahead and press the racism, the division that allows you to see all the black crime that keeps you in cringe and keep us fighting so they can display their ads and get their algorithm to make the machine work. You know what I'm saying? And China is against it.
China is against the. Say again. I may have
internet degeneracy, the Western ways. Yes, but the Falun Gong is not. They created QAnon. They created a lot of conspiracies that they keep going, and they put
Falun Gong did that.
The United States. Yeah,
the Falun Gong people created Q and a bunch of conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Really?
The Epoch Times is their newspaper. You heard of that?
Yes.
That's their newspaper, and that's their propaganda. They're very right wing.
Epoch Times. They're the Epoch Times is
the Falun Gong.
According to Wikipedia, a far-right international multi-language newspaper. But I've always seen them as a Chinese. I've been to different events
Chinese for real. They're. You gotta look through the lines now, Nick.
I don't really know, right? My only experience with Epoch Times is, besides sometimes perusing their news site, I would go to different events and speaking events that Jesse was at, and there would oftentimes be an Epic Times, like, I don't know, Epic Times agent is the wrong word, salesperson or representative, and they would have a booth there, and it was, I found them at many different events. I always thought that was interesting. But they seemed to, it was always an Asian person, and I thought they were just like Chinese. You're saying Epic Times is not exactly China. They're the Falun Gong version. I'm not being accurate, but is that fair to say?
Yeah, Chinese is like rounding them up and like, yeah, the Falun Gong, they're not allowed in China anywhere.
Okay.
If they find the Falun Gong, they'll harvest their body parts and sell them on the black market. It seems like they get punished over there, but they come over here and flourish behind the right wing and a lot of people that's pushing their agenda. So you gotta be careful who you in cahoots with. There was an article here in LA where they done got to a politician where they thought that they were talking to an IRS agent, and they trying to get zoning restructured in California on the behalf of the China Republic, and they got busted, and they was representing the Falun Gong. They're moving up in politics now. This is how they start.
Okay.
You can look it up. It's an article.
But what about this Falun Gong and QAnon stuff?
Yeah, they was behind that.
You got to help me out here, because, and I appreciate your call, man, but help us out a little bit. Help us out a little bit. Like, how did you arrive to that? What point are you making here? Because, a lot of that is confusing to myself, including, because I don't know how you arrived to that. Like, you're saying this Epic Times people who are into the Falun Gong stuff. You're saying that they started QAnon. Help me out. How'd you get there?
A lot of the propaganda that they was pushing, as far as Pizzagate and these kids being locked up in restaurant killings and all of this crazy stuff. Falun Gong funded these reports and pushed them in their newspapers around like they was real.
And where'd you get that?
Look it up.
I did. I typed in Falun Gong QAnon. I'm getting nothing. I'm not. Although, to be fair, I'm not trying very hard. But
oh, okay.
Well, I'm on the show right now. You can't blame me. You can't blame me for not.
Master Lee. Okay, Master Lee is the leader of this cult.
Who?
He got a 490-acre compound. Master Lee. He got a 490-acre compound in New York. I'm telling you about these Falun Gong people and this cult that's taking over America, and the Jews are playing right into their hands. And
so, is it really that big? I've rarely ever hear about it. Like, you're saying Falun Gong is a greater threat?
They got a play. You heard of Shirin-Roo? It's a dancing play they do, and they use all of these little flags. It's a Chinese dance play. It's real big. Only y'all go see it. Blacks don't support it. I'm telling you, y'all falling into the. I don't know how. See, some stuff is hidden on the internet, but if you search it, you can find it.
Well, I'll look into it, because you're saying.
I'm thinking this is the Red Shield. This is the part of the Red Shield that's trying to divide.
Falun Gong and all that?
They got a. Excuse me?
You're saying the Falun Gong stuff is part of the banking Red stuff Shield. And the fractional reserve banking and all that?
Yeah. They get money from somewhere, and they trying to start their own movement over here. And
everybody's trying to start their own thing. It seems like it's just another group with a caucus and with a voice. We need to have our voice heard. Everybody's trying to do that. So I'm not surprised.
It all started with the lies, though. It's just it's like another religion that they started. Religions are being started. This man is supposed to be able to know what you're thinking. He's supposed to be able to elevate and Falun Gong. It's one of these right-wing Christian, traditional, don't inbreed Nazi organizations is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay, you're saying okay. So you're saying they're racist for that? You're saying they're racist for
That's where they getting on. Yes, and that's probably the same ones that's making fun of the blacks over there or whatever. China, it's a big like thing that's like.
But the people making fun of those are
like
just
Trump.
okay. I don't know about that, but you're saying they're racist for not wanting to, mix.
They language is plain and clear. Yes,
Would
it's
you
not
mix?
just about wanting to breed. It's about why. It's like blacks are so.
So you would mix. You would mix and
Would I mix?
Yeah. Would you? Because you have you're a Mayat or whatever, right? You would really want to ruin your Mayat bloodline.
I mean, probably. I mean, I can't have kids no more. So, I mean, I'm hypothetically speaking, so I could say anything and try to make a point to make it seem like it'll go my way.
But don't say anything. Say what you believe. Don't say anything. Just say what you believe and think.
I believe there's nothing wrong with racism.
Okay. And so it's racist to be against that.
If you think it's something wrong with the other person and not yourself, like if white people is like, no, we don't deserve to be bred with because we're the devil and I respect you too much to breed with you. I mean, that could be almost respectable. But I mean, if you're saying that you're nasty and you're subhuman and I don't want my daughter to breed with you because and you're judging and that's wrong. Come on now. You see the difference?
I guess so. But, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, but it's still unclear if you're saying like, that your second example would be wrong because that person is being hateful. Because if so, then sure. But, some people who speak in that way, they aren't necessarily being hateful because they just don't.
What are they being there?
Okay, maybe not all the subhuman stuff. Maybe that's too far. But people who speak like that. It's people who may speak like that doesn't necessarily mean they hate. Okay, everybody knows, and everybody wants to maintain, their race the way it is. They want their children to marry someone like them. Everybody knows. Everybody's like that's normal.
No, everybody wants their kids to be happy with who they're with.
But even if they don't say it, people want their kids to, marry someone like them. Okay, I'm a Mexican. My son's a Mexican. I want his wife to be Mexican. That's a normal thing. That is a normal thing. Let's be real.
Ego wants their kids to do that. I understand. That's your ego. Like
might be.
You was responsible for who your kids picked. You can't put that on to like your success. No matter what you want for your kid. Yeah, I would want my kid to be successful too.
I prefer a certain race does not mean I hate another race. What about that?
Does it mean that you dislike them?
What about just prefer? If you prefer a race, does it mean you hate another one?
It means you dislike quality.
That means what?
You dislike qualities in that person.
And why? How so? Why is that?
You don't
why is
want
that
them in
your
your
conclusion?
own.
No, but you're not saying you hate. You're not saying you dislike or don't want, or you're just saying you prefer this. What's wrong with that?
What's the opposite of prefer?
The opposite of prefer is to not prefer.
Not prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah, to not want, to dislike, whatever.
But how come that's not true. When you have a preference, okay, your lack of preference in the other thing is not due to your dislike of that thing. It's due to your preference in the first thing.
How do you build a preference?
How do you what?
Build a preference in the first place. Are you taught a preference or you learned a preference? I mean, are you learn the preference, or do you?
I'm not sure. I think it might be both,
choose?
but I'm not sure.
Okay, so if you're taught that preference to only choose what you like, therefore the systemic racism will continue to happen because you prefer to have it this way, because even subconsciously, before you could even understand it, you was being given this choice. So now you're old enough to understand and you prefer it this way. So how are we going to get past old times if we're going by preferences?
And what are old times?
Racism, like the past where we came from.
Say again?
If all you doing is stuck on preferences and what you prefer.
And so what's your, okay, I think I'm understanding you a little bit. So what's your answer to, okay, let me just respond to what you just said. No, that still doesn't mean that you dislike something because you don't prefer it. Okay, you're saying it's learned. Oh, you learned to prefer this thing, and now you grew up, and now you because of your preference, you're causing systemic racism. But it's just as likely that you grew up around your kind, and that's just what you like. Like, that doesn't mean you hate or dislike other races or whatever. Okay, just to quickly respond to you. But I want to go into this a little bit. You said, how are we going to get away from the old times or old ways? And you're saying the old ways and old times is everybody has preferences. You're saying, is it fair to say like tribalism and being separated by all this, race and preferences? Is that what the old times are?
Yeah.
So what is so what's the new times? What are you saying is the new times that you want to be, that you want to come about? Can you describe it for me?
The new times is like a black man eating steak where chitlins was good not too long ago because his preference was smaller to choose from. So now I'm not going to say, yeah, sure, I'll feed my kids some chitlins just because I had to eat them and I preferred them growing up because of the knowledge of what's good for you and what's not good for you that's prevalent today. To ignore the knowledge and keep on doing the bad is not good. So today,
so are you okay?
You got to look at the whole picture.
Okay.
Of the government lying to us about one thing. What else did they lie about us?
So are you saying that you want a future of no preferences and differences?
No preferences and differences.
Is that what you're saying here? Because you're saying that's the old way. We want the new way. What's the new way? Are you saying no differences and preferences?
I'm saying tell the truth about how you plagiarize religion so we can make our
but
own
besides
choices.
that, yes or no?
No.
Yes or no?
That's it.
Yes or no? Do you want a future of no preferences and differences? Where
no,
we're not
that's not what I want.
Oh, okay, because it sounded like that. You started to sound like a globalist. You started to sound like some weird globalist or something. And I wouldn't even be surprised since you kind of go with CNN. Sometimes you're based, sometimes you go full on CNN. So I don't know, man.
No. See, if they told the truth about religion and then say, okay, y'all can play y'all game, but this is the truth and these are the facts and this is how it's been plagiarized, then okay, y'all pick and choose y'all religion and stick with them. It ain't going to play out like that as long as you maintaining a lie and make everybody make that their preference. I like what Jesse's saying. I like when you say you can make the emotions turn you unconscious and then you can sin all you want. It ain't like God's taking count of how many sins you do. There's no accountability. A lot of people would choose that.
You're saying a lot of people would choose
going unconscious, making them feel like it's not me, it's the flesh, and I have no accountability.
And that's what you're saying. Jesse's saying that there's no accountability.
Yeah, that's.
And you're saying people choose that. You're saying people willingly choose that.
If people start telling their doctors, "I'm not me," and I don't want to do these things, and I black out and do it, and they make a record in their chart, they will get off.
And so, in your logic, you're saying people are choosing that.
Hey, if they understand that they are unconscious and they're real,
because there's two sides to what you're saying, Frederick. There's a heaven and hell to what you're saying. I understand that you think in your mind that Jesse's telling people that there's no accountability and that they can go out and sin all they want because it's not them. But there's another side to that. There's a bondage to sin and a anger and fear. And, hold on, Frederick. You can't derail this one. There's sometimes a bondage. There's another side to that. There's a bondage and slavery to sin and all that. You're telling me people are willingly choosing that?
Ignorance is bliss. If you're unconscious,
no,
you're disconnected.
People are willingly choosing that. That's my question to you. Answer that one.
Yes, I believe people are willing to choose to say that if you give them an out where they can say, I went unconscious, I know not what I've done, they're going to take that out instead of saying, I messed up.
Fair enough, yeah, sure.
Greed
I'm sure some people do that.
And I wanted to steal that thing. They're not going to say, yeah, the greed got the best of me and I wanted to steal that.
I'm sure there's people out there who hear Jesse and they smoke pot and they go like, it's not me, and then stay unconscious and they never overcome. Fine. But you're saying people are willingly choosing bondage to slavery like it's up to them, and that just makes no logical sense. And you're also ignoring the fact that Jesse says all the time, it's up to us when we get to an adult age. It's up to us to overcome it. It's not up to. He's never said that it's not that like should a criminal do something we can't punish them because it wasn't them. He's never like. It's all about self-responsibility, but it's also a deeper understanding.
He pretty much said that Sunday.
If you want to ignore that, that's fine, but I just needed to correct you there, Frederick. Okay, last thing, go ahead.
If God ain't taking our sin number count down, then, I mean, it's...
Say again? This is your last statement, so say it again so that I understand it.
You said if God's not writing down our numbers of sin, like, oh, you sinned again, here's another sin, then what...
You think God is? You think God is doing that?
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to be held accountable.
Really? So you think God is up there? You think God is up there going like, oh, ew, you really went and did that? Ugh, let me write that down.
No, I think he peeked over and
Are you serious right now? You really said that and you really did that? Oh, let me write that one down. Oh, I'm going to get him later. You really think that's what God is doing?
He already knows.
That's hilarious. So if he already knows,
so when he looks down and say, well, let me see.
So now you're saying God already knows the things you're going to do, and he's still going to judge you about it. So what kind of God are you describing? You're describing a catty, my sister.
No.
That's not God, man. That sounds ridiculous that God would be up there sitting and acting like that.
No. He's just waiting for us to get on one accord, and then he'll be like, there y'all go. Y'all figured it out. Stop the lies. You've seen them lying to you. You're figuring it out with the Federal Reserve and the central bank. Go a little deeper.
I will, Frederick, man. Appreciate your calls, man.
All right. Take it easy.
Call me again. Moving the wheels. That's the show, y'all. That's all I got. That's all I got today. Sean here in the chat says, Trump said he's building a wall not because he hates those outside the wall, but because he loves those inside the wall. Amazing. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Trump said he's building a wall not because he hates those not because he hates those outside the wall, but because he loves those inside the wall. Yep. And it's damaging and hateful to just let those people come in. It's not doing them any favors. It's just letting them live longer. It's a pilfering of the able-bodied men that could possibly fix the country they're leaving. It's not love. All of that's not love. That is awesome. Great quote there. Thank you, Sean. All right, y'all. That's the show. Gotta love it. We love that show, right? Join me tomorrow, 12 o'clock, American Anchor, baby, of course. And appreciate you. Oh, we got a super chat from Iwama. Take me to my. Iwama, take me to my says, can you play Black N-Word by Lil Blackout? Oh, is that like a song? He says, can you play Black N-Word by Lil Blackout, Indian? A little unclear there, Ewan Ma, but maybe I'll play it on Friday, as we do have, we're a little loosey and goosey with the music on Fridays, and we get down. Join me on Friday for a flight. We might play that. But otherwise, oh man, I should have checked Rumble earlier. You guys are awesome. Thank you for chatting and being in there. I'm going to keep a Rumble chat open from now on so I don't miss you guys there. But we got a party going on in the Rumble chats there. Thanks for supporting me there on Rumble. Shout out to the Steve Strock. What's up, man? Being in light until I rise. You guys rock. and of course, the Hake Report. Okay, y'all, that's the show. That was great. Thank you guys. Join me tomorrow. Peace. Take care.